Hello everyone, I will present you Waynergy project. The promoters team is constituted by me, Francisco Duarte, and my colleague Filipe Casimiro. We both have a master's degree in electromechanical engineering by University of Beira Interior, and we are working on this project for 1 year. I will start to tell you about the energy sources and energy production. In 2009, 80% of energy was produced by fossil fuels combustion and only 20% by renewable energy sources. And the consumption places was 50% within cities. Recent studies showed that by 2030, this number will increase to 75%. And in cities, 40% of energy is consumed in buildings, 35% in outdoor spaces, and only 25% in industry. If we look where this energy is produced, we also find some problems. In thermal centrals, for example, 60% of energy is lost due to heat losses. And the renewable sources, as we know, are dependent on the resource availability, which is not every time that energy is needed. Also, these places are distant from the consumption, and there is a need to transport that energy between the production and the consumption. In this process, 10 to 20% energy is lost due to grid losses. So, between the production and the consumption of energy, there are a lot of losses in this road. And when we use energy, we are not using all the energy that is produced. We can take a few conclusions from here. First, a global increase in energy production is inevitable. So there is also an urgent need to search for new and cleaner ways to produce this energy. And third, there is also an urgent need to decentralize energy production, to reduce the distance between production places and consumption places. That, as I said before, are mostly in cities. So what do we have in cities? If you look at tensions around you, you see people and vehicles moving everywhere, and every time they move, they release kinetic energy into the floor. This energy is not being used and captured for anything. We can capture that energy and transform it into electric energy. To this, we developed a system that we called Waynergy, that every time a people or vehicle moves on its surface, it generates electric energy by the movement of the surface. I'll bring our prototype here, and I will show you how this works. When I step upon it, it will generate electric energy. There was 2 lights there, economical lights, that was lighted just with my steps. So, our technology doesn't cause discomfort or extra effort when you walk through it. It uses electromagnetic technology different from the current means of generate electric energy through the floor as piezoelectric systems that I will tell you something about it later. And it can be applied both indoor and outdoor spaces. We already have the patent granted in Portugal, and we will make the extension next year. This system is suitable for both people and vehicles, and the energy can be directly consumed or be stored. About the main applications, well, the main applications we have identified are mostly with vehicle motion. It can be applied on highways, roads, just like in tolls or speed bumps. It can also be applied in bridges, tunnels, fuel stations, or parking zones, among other places. In this, the electricity can be used to supply electric devices as illumination, contribute to reduce the electric bills of the owners of the place. Among other applications, the vehicle system can also the energy can also be sold to the electrical grid due to the amount of energy generated. Other applications, of course, are in shopping malls or public transport stations where people motion can be captured and transformed into electric energy. Now we are studying new applications with this system, just like on the rails of train. When train moves, it also releases a lot of energy, and we can capture with our system applied specific to these places. Also in bridges have great vibrations. We can also, with our system, capture that vibrations and transform it into electric energy. And finally, Our recent studies are pointing to wave energy. Our technology can also be applied in this huge potential market. So, about our value proposition, I will show you a case study that we have done at Ponte 25 de Abril, one of the main bridges in Portugal. This Portugal has an average traffic of more than 150 vehicles per day, and has about 10,000 euros per year just with illumination. If we invest in our system, in a Waynergy solution applied to vehicles, with a 30,000 investment, the owner of the bridge can have the payback in less than 5 years and in an unsubsidized model, which is not always true because in renewable sources there are a lot of subsidized solutions nowadays. And it can have 65% in energy savings, having a global savings in 10 years of 35,000 euros. Our business model, well, we will not produce directly the product. We will have production and industrial partners that will produce the product, and we are responsible for the sales of product, mainly in national market. In national market, we will have both distribution, sales, and implementing partners. In international markets, we will act differently. We will choose strategical partners in all the continents and for phases that I'll tell you after. And we will intend to enter first in Europe, then North America, then Asia, and finally Africa and South America. The products, well, in the next year we intend to go to market with 2 products. Waynergy People, that I bring the prototype here, which has a cost of 11 euros per watt and a production up to 40 watt per square meter, and Waynergy Vehicles that we are finishing the prototype, which has a cost between 4 and 6 euros per watt with a production up to 120 watt per square meter. About competition, of course, there are other competitors in this field, and there are being developed piezoelectric solutions, mainly in Israel and United Kingdom, mostly directed to vehicles motion, and that solution has higher costs and a little bit lower generation compared to electromagnetical technology. There are other electromagnetical and hydraulic solutions being developed in Germany and in the USA. They are being only developed to vehicle motion. As they are not yet available on the market, I can tell you about the prices and the generation. But of course, other indirect competition are solar and wind systems that compete in the renewable markets. But as the case that I show you in the bridge, where do you going to put a wind turbine? It's a little bit complicated. So, about our technology roadmap. We started to develop a solution with piezoelectric system, and it has a great cost for a low production. That makes us realize that we need to improve and change technology. When we started with electromagnetical technology, we make a 20% improvement. With a lower cost, we can produce 20% more energy. Then, we remake our project and optimize it, and we add another 20% improvement. This solution can produce up to 10 watts each block for a people step and up to 60 watts each block for a vehicle step. This block, as you see, can produce for 2 economical lamps and for 1 step, and the block for a vehicle solution can power up 12 economical lamps, just 1 block with 1 step. So in 1 year we had a 400% improvement on our technology, and we are redesigning in order to reduce our costs. Now, we are building pilot plants to implement in specific and strategical partners. We already have done the Waynergy People pilot plant, and we will implement it even this year in a shopping mall. Then, we are also building pilot plants for vehicles that we will implement in roads to study the results. About our milestones, we intend to make the full product development and technical validation during the next 9 months, and then establish all necessary business contacts to enter on national market in 1 year time. Then we will start the contacts to enter on European market first, then American, and then Asian and African markets. Finally, we intend to, in 18 months' time, start the development of new products. As I told you before, the solutions for trains and bridges, as example. In 3 years' time, we intend to have all these products available. To this, we already have won 2 innovation awards, EDP Richard Branson and ISCTE UL MIT Portugal in the Sustainable Energy track. This money can make that we go to market with these 2 products in about 1 year time. But what if we won this last award of another 100,000 euros? Well, this will for sure redefine our strategy. We will be able to accelerate the process of technical validation and business contacts in order to go to national market in 9 months, reducing this time in 3 months. Then, we will start in 6 months the new products development with more financial. And finally, we will anticipate also the European market in 6 months. About our financial projections, well, during this and next year, we need 150,000 euros investment, and by 2012 and 13, 1.65 million, mainly due to international markets, and we expect to have our payback in 2.5 years by the middle of 2012. In a 5-year forecast, we intend to have a net present value of 8 million euros with an internal rate return of 166%. Well, this is our project, Waynergy, the way for energy harvesting. Thank you very much.
Congratulations for this presentation. Again, we have a project that, like the previous one, is very promising. Of course, it gives great opportunities. For instance, in that bridge, there is a half marathon of Lisbon, and that's maybe a moment in which a lot of energy can be taken. Another possibility is for people who like to go to nightclubs. It's great to know that they are contributing to save the planet in the process.
Yes.
The range of possibilities is so large that indeed it raises an issue. Not all these different alternatives, you mentioned vehicles, you mentioned people, will have the same payoff, will have the same rate of return. What are your priorities? Where do you think of starting? Which clients will you find first for your cooking? If I may remind the great lessons that we learned today. Thank you.
No, the payback is quite different because with vehicles we can produce much more energy, mainly due to their weight that is quite enough higher, and also to the speed that they move. So the vehicle solution presents much higher productions, which will be make that the payback time of that solutions is much faster, and that is now the full development that we are doing is in vehicle solutions. We intend to make the development of that solutions as soon as possible. Of course, that cook takes time, but we are now starting the prototypes, and we already have contacts to test in national roads here in Portugal, and that is the main market for this project. The people solution is also quite interesting. It has a lot of applications, but the payback is not that interesting as this solution. I don't know if I respond to everything. Yes? Okay. Thank you very much to you all.